Blessings, Pisces, and welcome to my channel. My name is Cassandra, and you are watching Spotless Mind Tarot. In this video, we're going to take a look at the year ahead in 2025. I'm going to pull a card for each month to get the overall theme and feel for what you could expect for that month. I do apologize for how late this video is. That was not my intention, but here we are finally at your reading. And so because I missed January, we're just going to get a recap of what happened and what you can take away from that month. And so this is good for Pisces rising sun and or moon sign or any other placement that you feel called to watch for. But your sun sign is just good enough for this reading. These are loosely based on sun sign readings. So if you feel like you got enough out of this reading, then don't worry about watching the others. However, if you think you need more insight, then please, of course, feel free to watch the other videos. And these videos are going to be uploaded month by month. So it's okay if you don't get through the whole reading, because I understand later on in the year that's pretty far out and not much of a concern to most people. So if you don't finish the video, then just be on the lookout for the monthly uploads of these readings. So I'm going to go ahead and start shuffling the cards, and we're going to get a recap of January 2025. Okay, so for the recap on January, we got the Devil card. So for some of you, this could go either way. So either you were caught up in a situation related to the Devil card energy, or you were breaking free from a situation to where you were once in this Devil card energy. And so this has a lot to do with, for whatever reason, I'm realizing your limitations, and of course boundaries, setting up boundaries. And so I feel like there's something you did break free from, even if you do feel like maybe you're trapped in a situation or you're stuck in your head about something. I do feel that you did break away from a situation, and I think it had a lot to do with how it was like exhausting either your resources or your energy. I definitely get a feel for like somebody or something was draining you, and you seem to have corrected that in January. So that's very promising. Very promising. So that seems to be the main theme for January. Of course, I don't want to spend too long, but I also don't want to spend a short time, because the month has already passed, so you may not be interested in it anyways. But for the most part, that seems to be what occurred in January. You're able to break free from something. However, I do feel like you picked up a new habit that you want to be mindful about, because it could leave you feeling stuck, or it could end up to burnout or drain you once more, just in a different way than it did before. Okay. So I feel like this could be a variety of things. I'm also getting something to do with like medication or health. Okay. Maybe you change your meds. So I would be cautious about that. Okay. Whatever those meds are, maybe you're having a bad reaction to it, or maybe it's hard for your body to adjust. Okay. You could even be detoxing. Okay. Maybe you quit doing something, even if it's like you quit eating sugar or just anything that was really unhealthy but very habitual for you. Okay. So there's like some kind of detoxing that is occurring. I feel like it started in January and it's still here prevalent in February. So without spending too much time, that's what we got for January. So for February, we got the 10 of Swords. So last month I mentioned that there's some kind of burnout, or there's something that you picked up, like a new habit, or you're detoxing or something like that, and it could lead to burnout. And I feel like in February, we got some burnout going on. Okay. I also feel like there is a sense of defeat in some way, in some area of your life. So you may want to pay attention to that. I also feel like this defeat could be a positive thing. So maybe you did quit doing something that was bad, like whatever it is, or maybe you are choosing to live a healthier life. And so, as your body's detoxing, you're fighting yourself to be really drained because it is like draining all your energy. So, if you are actively pursuing a healthier lifestyle or mindset, then I feel like this is more positive. Okay. It's more or less just you definitely need your rest this month. You definitely need to take it easy. And I definitely don't see yourself beating yourself up about it, but you do seem really drained. Like you do, your energy levels are definitely pretty low here. Okay. Um, but on the plus side, like even though it doesn't look like a good card, but sticking to like the positive side, like if you are actively pursuing a healthier lifestyle and mindset, I do feel like there is a victory in this, and that like this is a sign that you are doing the right thing. Okay. And so I would suggest sleeping more this month, taking more naps, resting more, just kicking your feet up. Definitely want to go outside and get some sun, especially since it is going to start warming up. Where I live, it's already pretty warm. So it's actually wonderful outside. And so, like just sitting out in the sun for a little bit, a couple times a day, can really help. Okay. And that's just like if you already are outside anyways, like I never leave the house, but like if you frequently go out anyways, like still like take the time to like sit somewhere nice, like at a park or something, and just kind of like soak it all in. Now, on the negative side of this, if you're not doing anything to improve yourself, then this is a different kind of burnout to where it's not going to feel good. Okay. So, yeah, you're going to want to sleep more, nap more, and like sit out in the sun more, but you're not going to feel good. So, you're going to feel sick. Okay. And even if you are detoxing and doing something good for yourself, you could still feel sick anyways. Okay. Because it definitely doesn't feel good to have something being flushed out of your system that has been there for quite some time. Okay. And your body's just really trying to adjust, really trying to cope with that. Okay. So I definitely do see detoxing for all Pisces in every way possible. Okay. Um, so that seems to be the gist of February. I'm not getting much else. So let's go ahead and move on. For March, we got the Two of Swords. Okay, so with January and February, there seems to have been a new decision made already. You freeing yourself from a habit, but maybe even picking up a new habit. Hopefully, that new habit is like good for you and more of a discipline for you than anything else. And then February, you seem to have detox. You were taking a break. You were slowing down a lot more and really focusing on yourself and your overall well-being. Here comes March, and now it's interesting because I feel like you have another important decision to make. Okay, with this card, it's always like you already know that decision, but you're having a really hard time acting upon it. Okay, and because this is Libra energy, this is Moon in Libra to be more specific, and like Libra weighs both sides of a situation. It's able to see the benefit of both and also see the cons of both. Okay. And so sometimes it can be hard to make a decision when it comes to that Libra archetypal energy. They can be very indecisive. Okay. And it could be for a variety of reasons. Okay. Not just like they see both sides, but they could just be really hesitant to initiate that change because they know like once they make a decision that there's consequences or there's a result or whatever. And so that seems like a big responsibility for Libra, especially as a cardinal sign. Okay. So, yeah, this seems to be something that is such a big deal. Maybe you're having a hard time telling somebody something. Maybe you've made a decision about something in your life, what you want to do as a career, and you're having a hard time telling your parents, maybe because, they're not going to approve of it, or whatever that situation may be in your life. Um, I think it's important that you do act on it, though. You don't want to sit for too long. Venus is retrograde in March, so you could just be like going over something, especially related to Venus or Venusian things. So, beauty, aesthetics, comfort, luxury, pleasure, security, resources, things like that. And so you could be going over something in March, and maybe that's why you're having a hard time making a decision, because it's just like, oh, wait a minute, I forgot about this. And so, especially when it comes to any kind of relationship or any kind of connection with somebody, especially a one-on-one connection. And Venus does deal with relationships, okay, not just romantic, but she could also represent like business partnerships. Um, so yeah, I could see how you are. Maybe you're going back on something, not like back on your word, but you're kind of just like, you know what the decision you need to make, but because of new circumstances that arise, you're kind of like second guessing yourself. Okay. So I would say don't act so hastily, especially even if you do know what that decision is going to be, and now it's just up for you to act on it. I think you need to, because you do want to consider these things that do arise. Okay, that when Venus goes retrograde, but at the same time, like you don't want to spend too much time going back and forth, because you're going to stay stuck here and you're not going to make any progress. So that is March for you guys. So April, we got the King of Cups. And so for the most part, you guys did make your decision last month, your big decision that you had to make. But overall in April, I do feel like you guys are finally in your zone. I feel like you're finally going to feel like the year has started even. So April does start Aries season. That is the astrological new year. And so that could be it too. Like maybe the Aries energy starts motivating you, especially because we are going to have planets moving into Aries, like Neptune and Saturn. I'm not sure if they're in Aries by then, but they will be later this year. And so, yeah, you definitely feel really motivated. You're definitely in your comfort zone. And so, whatever you're dealing with in April, I think it's going to be easy peasy for you guys. Um, I feel like you're gonna just be in the flow. You're just gonna be your Piscean self for sure. Like you're really, really in your element in April. And so I feel like there's some relief there too, because maybe you were a bit concerned that this year, because it kind of started off pretty rough. I feel like maybe you were like, oh, great, like it's gonna be another one of those years. But things do start to pick up in April for you guys. Okay. And so you're able to be like, okay, like that was just a pregame. Now we're really getting things going. Now it really is the new year for you. Okay. Okay. And so relationships could also be important for you guys, whether you're single or not, or whether it is a platonic family business relationship, whatever it may be. It seems to be important for you guys. So those of you who are single, I feel like you've got your eye on somebody, you're very interested in someone. Um, you're kind of like waiting though, like you're kind of just testing the waters and seeing if they're interested. So you're not really making a move, but you are showing interest. Okay. For those of you who are in a relationship already, like a romantic relationship, I feel like there could be some kind of break or a pause in the relationship. Okay, it doesn't mean like a separation or anything, but maybe you are just kind of like taking a step back and letting your partner like do their thing. So you could just be spending less time with your partner this month, but there is still definitely that strong connection, because this is the King of Cups we're talking about. And if this is business, I feel like you're working on a business deal or a business plan. I feel like this person that you're working with, I don't think it's another company per se, but whoever you're working with directly in April, there's something of like a teacher or a guru or some kind, or like really inspirational to you. Okay. And so there's a lot for you to learn. I feel like the progress with them is going to be really slow, like, especially if you're planning and like making deals or whatever. You may not sign the paperwork in April, but and that could just even be like metaphorically speaking, not like literally. So it's like you're not ready. It's not ready for like a green light just yet, but it's good to like I just get like business meetings, like there's just meetings and like um connecting and stuff like that. So there's nothing like really solidifying here when it comes to business. It is just more about making connections. And I think that's important for the King of Cups, especially as an archetype, is to have those emotional bonds with people. And that's where they thrive the most, especially as Pisces. Like if you're able to share an emotional connection with somebody, then I feel like you're overall a lot happier and a lot more free to be yourself. But I think you also just overall like you get results when um bring your emotion into a situation, however that may look. All right. So that's what we got for April. For May, we got the King of Swords. So in April, we got the King of Cups, which led you to be really in your element and just be really excited about the year ahead. And then May, we find ourselves transforming into the archetype of the King of Swords. Okay. And so this is Gemini energy. And so the Gemini house in your birth chart may be activated, or a Gemini in your life could be really important. Or if you have any placements there, I would pay attention. If you don't know anything about your birth chart, then Gemini is still prevalent in your life in some way. Okay. And so this is the role that you seem to be taking on. So you seem to be a bit more focused, a bit more, you could be more reserved, although I feel like the King of Swords isn't a very reserved individual. I feel like you are being reserved, or you're being mindful of the things you say, or like you're like when to speak, or less is more, or like just like the value of your words. And so you just seem kind of careful or reserved with what you say. But I do feel like you are a lot more communicative. I do feel like it's more physical. Okay, I feel like you're just more active with your physicality. So maybe you have Mars and Gemini. And so you could be just more self-expressive that way. So like I'm getting like if you are a creative or an actor, I feel like you're just like really embodying your body. Like you're really just like tuned in and tapped into your body. But even like overall, I feel like your emotions are speaking through your body movement, which is really interesting. And so another thing about this card is that you're fairly comfortable. I mean, like look at him. He's got like a robe on, virtually like wearing a dress essentially, in a robe, and he's chilling and he's facing forward. Okay, he's got his head up. Whereas like you saw with the King of Cups, he's looking in the other direction. He's kind of like not facing forward. He's a bit more aloof. Here in May, you're more upfront, you're more like focused on what's ahead of you. Okay. And you're also like leaving yourself open. Okay. So there's some vulnerability there. So maybe, yeah, maybe you are like wearing your heart on your sleeve. So that's where that whole like your emotions are showing through your body. Okay. Even though I know heart on your sleeve is like a metaphor, but yeah, that's just how it's coming through to me in this reading. Okay, so I do think it's important that you are being more open and honest with yourself and with other people, especially people who are important to you, or people who you have to have a connection with. So like at work or school or whatever. Okay, so you could also be learning something new here in May. You could be intellectually stimulated and inspired. I feel like someone here is writing a book, or there's something about a book, reading a book that's like really influential and life changing. Yeah, so there's like creativity here, and it's definitely more intellectual creativity. Okay, so I don't really see like, I mean, obviously, if you're an artist, you're an artist, but I feel like it's more about I don't know, it's different. Like you're not only showing it through your actions, but just like your words, but I also feel like you're saying less. So maybe you are just writing more, like talking to people through text more or whatever, or expressing yourself more, um, through written word overall. Okay. So that seems to be it for May. For June, we got the Knight of Pentacles. And so once again, we have another court card. Okay. And now we have the Knight of Pentacles, which this is Taurus energy. Okay. So we move from Pisces to Gemini to Taurus energy here in the month of June. So I feel like last month you were reserved, but now I could see why. I feel like you were just really contemplating and planning and like just in your head more, but in a good way. Like you're really just like working things out. Okay. And so I feel like in June now you're taking action. Okay. You're really like setting the foundation for something here. It could be something new or something you're already pursuing. This could even be a person. You could be pursuing somebody in a romantic way or in a business relationship. Okay. I feel like you're really eager to get this ball rolling. I definitely feel a lot of restlessness in June. So there could be a lot of more physical activity. And I did pick that up for like May, how you're going to be more expressive through your body in some way, or it's going to show through your body. So I would pay attention to your health. If you are stressed out and you're starting to get aches somewhere in your body, then you should pay attention, okay? Because your body is quite literally reacting to your emotions. And so your emotions are pretty powerful this year too. And I think that just has a lot to do with like the astrology, which I'm not going to explain, but there's just like a lot of shifts happening from Pisces to Aries, okay, and um, as well as the nodes just switching into your sign, and so into Pisces and Virgo, and so like whether it's going forward into Aries or backward into Pisces, same with like Venus. Venus is retrograding in Aries and going back to Pisces, and then going back through Pisces into Aries, and so like there's a lot of back and forth energy on that cups right there between Pisces and Aries. And so this could even just make you feel restless, make you feel uneasy. Okay. There could be a sense of fear or worry here, but also like a sense of like really motivated. Like you're really just like, and that makes sense because the North Node is in Pisces. I'm sure it is now. Like I'm so terrible with remembering the astrology. So let me just look real quick. So yes, of course, the nodes are in Pisces right now. And right now, as I'm recording this, we have Neptune on the North Node. And so yeah, like there's a lot of triggering activations. But on the plus side, this is the North Node. And so things could be worse. It could have been the South Node and then like your head's cut off. And so I feel like this Knight of Pentacles is being motivated by the North Node and just being motivated by that cusp, just being so heavily activated right now in your life. Even if you're early degree Pisces, like you were born at the very beginning, you're still going to feel this energy. But especially if you are born later, okay, at the end of Pisces, you're really, really going to feel this. But I feel like that all that restlessness you feel, you could turn it into motivation because it is like energy that is I think it's so restless is because you have so much energy around you and the universe is giving you so much opportunity, and it's like the world's at your fingertips, okay? And so it can feel restless because you have like everything at in your grasp. Like imagine if you just had a pile of money in front of you, like it would make you feel, I don't know how I don't know how that would make you feel, but like, like maybe you would just start thinking about all the things you would spend it on. Okay, and so that makes you restless. Okay, and so it's like you have all this opportunity in front of you, so you just kind of like got to direct your focus. And I think that's something that Knight of Pentacles is pretty good at because this is Earth energy and Taurus energy, which is a fixed sign. And so once you can fixate on one thing, I feel like that everything else kind of just deviates and disappears. Okay, so I do feel, regardless of the craziness that you may be feeling. And June for everybody is such a turning point. I don't know what it is, you know, the astrology, obviously, but it's for everyone. I got there's always something crazy happening in June. Okay, for you guys, I don't think it's gonna be very impactful because there's definitely something happening in the collective in the entire world. Who knows what that's gonna be? We'll see. Um, but at the same time, like I feel like it's not like it's not positive, but I feel like for you guys, it's gonna be maybe easier or um you're I don't know, like it's more positive for you, but I don't want to make it seem like some doom and gloom is coming because I have no idea. Um I don't know. It just that's all I'm getting is it's just more positive, but like I don't want to focus on that. Like I don't know. So yeah, once again, June's good. You could really plant a seed and get things going, and just know that whatever you do, fixate on and work on, it's for the long term. Okay, and so that should be what really motivates you is the long term success of whatever it is, whether it's a relationship, whether it's whatever it is. Okay, if you're still detoxing or like whatever. Okay, so yeah, that's what we got for June. So for July, we got the Queen of Swords. And I find it so funny because the past few months we've been getting court cards. And so that's really telling me that you guys are really tapping into archetypal energies, whether it is literally the court cards appearing in this reading or just like something else in your life. You're taking on new personas, you're it could be experimental or just situational, like it's just happening in your life. Um, if you are very tuned in and like lead a very spiritual life, then I feel like it's going to really help facilitate some kind of like ascension or initiation or just something, just overall spiritual growth. Okay. And so that's a pretty big deal. I feel like for a lot of you guys this year is about spiritual growth. And I feel like it's leading you into a more positive direction. I feel like you guys have been going through it. I mean, like, who hasn't been going through it since 2020? Okay. But there are certain signs that just like really been struggling. And it's not even because of like, I don't know. I just feel like maybe it is because like Neptune's been in Pisces for so long. And so like things just feel like not real. You know, I could see how like it could be really hard to navigate when everything is very illusory, illusionary. I'm not saying it right. Um, but yeah, so we got the Queen of Swords, and so I like the Queen of Swords. She's a pretty cool character, and this is Libra. I always look because I always gotta double check. Gotta double check my work. Because one day I'm just gonna say it wrong. But yeah, like that could be another message too for July. Like you're checking your work. I feel like with this, you're more outspoken compared to like the King of Swords, which is so funny because I was explaining how the King of Swords is facing us and he's almost got like his legs open, you know, and he's wearing like a dress and like, or just like a long robe or whatever. And so he's a lot more loose and like just more like upfront and like vulnerable at the same time. Whereas the Queen of Swords, like she's facing in the opposite direction. And it looks like she's like um, motioning something or talking to somebody, or I always get like so many different things from this card. Um, so I feel like July, on one end, it could be a month where you are more vocal and more upfront about certain things. You could also just be changing your direction, maybe your interests, or being called for, like maybe there could be distractions in July, but also like maybe there's other things interesting you, like you're looking in a different direction and like noticing something and like finding that exciting and like I don't know, maybe you're going towards something new in July, but you could also just be entertaining the idea, okay? Or just like looking outside of the box. So maybe you're not really changing much in your life or whatever. Like you're not looking for any major transformation, but you are kind of just like looking around and like looking for inspiration. So July definitely seems like a month of you just looking for inspiration or even being inspired more. Okay. With the Queen of Swords, I feel like you're gonna be more forgiving and um, more compassionate and just like fair in your situations. I feel like your ego's kind of gonna be put to the side. Like I feel like you're not gonna get in your own way, and you are gonna give other people an opportunity in July. So whatever that may be, that could be a relationship. Um, it's almost like you might even be letting an individual redeem themselves. Like maybe someone showed up in your life and now you're kind of like giving them what's it called, like a probation period, like just to see, okay, did you really change or you just, want to come and fuck shit up once more. And so I feel like there's some work you did back in January, because I did mention something about breaking free from something and then like something about setting up boundaries. I feel like all that work you've done back in the beginning of the year, January, February, it's being tested in July, but maybe not look at it like it's a test or a lesson, even though like everything's a test and a lesson. I feel like now it's gonna be like tested or challenged, or like those new boundaries you set up for yourself, you're gonna have to like um like activate them, like use them. Okay, so there could be somebody that comes back that you kind of like, you just got to make sure they really did change and they're not just saying that or appearing to be somebody new. Okay. So yeah, that's what we got for July. For August, we got the Eight of Wands. Okay, and so August is all about movement and kind of just rapid change. So I feel like in August is a month of rapid change. I feel like the winds are going to blow in a new direction, or they're going to blow even harder in the direction that they're already headed in. Okay, so I would say like August maybe just be more free falling, okay, instead of flowing. This is more like a falling energy. This is more like or like an arrow shooting an arrow energy. Okay. And this is Mercury and Sag. So what do you know? um so yeah, maybe the words you say might fly off the handle. Be careful of what you say. Um I feel like communication can be really fast. I feel like overall, like things are moving fast and things are progressing. Okay. I'm also getting like Aries kind of energy where like it comes and it goes, and so there's like a lot of quickness to this. There's a lot of like once it happens, it happens and it's over with. You don't got to do it anymore. So you could get a lot done in August. August would be a great month for you to like deep clean your entire home or like do anything like that where like there's a lot to be done. Okay, and like you haven't been doing it because it's just there's a lot to do, like deep cleaning your home and like going through all your belongings. That's a lot of work, right? I feel like in August you're gonna have that energy, or like the time's just gonna pass by so quick that like you can deep clean your home in a week, like no problem. Okay, and maybe even quicker than that. So it's a good time to do something like that, or just do something where you want to get quick results. So August seems to be a month of really quick results. So be careful, because if you produce something negative, you're going to quickly get negative results. Okay. And so, yeah, be a good person, be a good little Pisces. So that way, like nothing comes back on you. Okay. So, cause like what you put out, you're going to get back immediately. Again, um, you're going to get a lot of results. Okay. So I feel like a lot can get done. You could really utilize this so it's not overwhelming once more. I feel like it's not going to be. I really do feel like everyone here is going to utilize this energy. At least I hope so. Um, unless you're like cross watching or whatever. But yeah, like I feel like there's just a lot to get done, a lot of forward. And it's all like really positive. It's a really positive year for you guys. So I think that's cool. Like, and I try not to like focus too much like on positive negative in like the traditional sense that we know it to be. it's more just like energy. Like there's just more, it's like plus and minus. Like you need both to operate a battery. Otherwise, a battery is not going to work. And so, like, there's not much. So sometimes, like, negativity is a good thing because, like, negativity can get you places and discipline you and humble you and things like that. And, like, whatever. So, like it's negative to like work out because, like, if you think about it, like you're hurting your muscles and like you're stretching, especially if you're lifting weights, like you're tearing your muscles apart, and then it fills with blood, and like it's sore and it's painful. Like that's negative, right? But it's negative, but it produces a positive result. So that could be like another message, okay? But obviously, it's got to be something like that, where like working out, where you're kind of doing something negative, you're resisting to produce a positive result, okay? Because like don't go robbing a bank thinking it's gonna work out, because it's not. That's not the kind of negativity I'm talking about. Okay, so it's just energetically, like when you look at something like lifting weights as like a negative thing as far as like a minus thing, um but has an opposite effect to it to produce a plus, okay, like a battery, then that's good. That's really good. Okay. And the same, you could sometimes do something positive and ends up being negative, maybe, but maybe that negativity is okay and granted and warranted. So whatever. It seems kind of like a kind of like it's kind of silly, like it's a silly month. There's kind of like some funny things going on. So that's what we got for August. For September, we got the World card. And so I think that's so cool because it's just like everything that happened this year is leading up until September, leading up until this moment. Okay. And so a lot of things are going to finalize in September. And I feel like there's another sign that I got this card for September. I can't remember which sign that is, if that is the case. Okay. Um, so maybe there's like a correlation there. If there is, then there's a connection to that sign or in your birth chart or with another person, whatever it may be. Okay, so September definitely seems a month of like completions and finalizing projects. I feel like I did mention something about like somebody making business plans with someone like in June or May, and it's kind of just like all talk. It's just like kind of like discussing the details. I feel like September you guys can come back around and like finalize a plan. So overall though, September is a good month to like finalize something, whether it's whatever it is. If you like, if you're in a bad relationship and like you've been wanting to like break up for some time, like do it in September. Like be done with it. Whatever you're done with, be done with it in September. Okay, because it's this is a good sign that it's like yeah, it's a positive sign, even if you are ending something like a relationship, because it's more karmic. Okay, um it's more in alignment with who you are as a person, opposed to doing what you think you have to do or what is expected out of you. Okay, and so you are ending a lot of contracts with people or with yourself or a situation that you're in. So um, there could be some heavy things going on as a result. Okay, you might have to deal with some heavy issues or feelings or certain individuals that are just like, I don't know, there's just like a heaviness to it. But on the plus side, once again, it's like there's a lot of that like negative turning into positive thing that I mentioned in August. It's like carrying over into September. Okay, so like ending a relationship can be a positive thing. Ending, quitting a job that doesn't serve you could will become a positive thing. Like it's negative, you have to quit your job, right? But it's positive because it's for your own good. Okay, so it's got to be something like that to where it's you know what I mean? It's going to produce those kinds of results. So once again, more results are being produced. I feel like things are more clear, things settle down. Where August, it's like there's a lot of energy to like finalize and get stuff done. I feel like September, the energy is going to be kind of like flat, but not like stagnant or anything. It's just like it's going to be a perfect balance and like wherever you go with that energy is entirely up to you. So instead of like the universe just throwing you around, it's you who's going to be throwing yourself around if you do find that to be the case. Okay, so be mindful of that. Be mindful that you in September, it's kind of funny, I feel like there's some kind of there's some kind of like suspension here, like you're kind of suspended in time and space. Okay, and so like how what everything you do like matters. Okay, so look at it like that, like you're in space, and like any kind of movement you do in space is going to really like affect your overall movement and direction. So be really mindful of that. Okay, um what else? I also feel like you can come to terms or an agreement with something. If I didn't mention that, I feel like you're able to like accept something or forgive somebody, or even yourself. And if it's not forgiveness, I think just like you're just like able to accept something. Okay, so you don't have to forgive people. I feel like, well, I don't know, that's like so controversial, but you know, we're always told like forgive and you know, set yourself free. But like I feel like some people just do things that it's like it's hard to forgive them, or it's just like why should I forgive them, you know, like I just feel like that you're pleasing your ego or something by, you know what I mean, unless you genuinely feel that forgiveness, then don't do it. Okay, because you're only trying to please an ego here. Okay, so you want to forgive people for the right reasons, and it's okay if you don't, and it's okay if you don't and you move on. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that either. So um at least that's just how I see it. If you don't agree, that's completely fine. Okay, you don't have to agree with me. Yeah, that's something that's just happening, just some kind of acceptance and moving on. And also like saying yes to something. So you know, I don't want to spoil it, but maybe some kind of engagement, or just like just saying yes to something. It is some kind of proposal. It doesn't have to be like an actual engagement. um you know, it could even just be like an invite or something. Either way, there's something that comes up, some kind of proposal that you do want to say yes to. Okay, I mean, of course, if it's in alignment with what you got going on. I feel like there's a lot to say for September, but because it seems to be very individual, we're not going to get into it. So if you ever need any more guidance from me, you're always welcome to reach out. I do offer private readings, but there should be other videos on my channel by this time of the year. Like these shouldn't be the only readings. So maybe there's some other readings I'll have on my channel that can help give you insight, or you could reach out to me. So that's what we got for September. October, we got the Tower, and it's kind of funny because it jumped out of the tarot deck as I was shuffling. And so I think it's just like, I kind of feel like you're initiating this Tower moment, and it could even just be a result of from September when we have the World card and things are like finalizing and completing and yada yada yada. I feel like October, what is no longer serving you is going to fall away this month. And so this could be difficult for some people if you're having a hard time letting go. Okay, or if you're having a hard time accepting something, if there's something you didn't accept last month, um, this can be really hard for you. But overall, I do feel like there's more positive energy surrounding you guys this year, and you're able to just kind of like go with it and like not harbor too many emotions about something or a situation. So October is definitely a month where October, I would say, slow down and kind of just like see what happens. Okay, like when October rolls around, like don't have any expectations about anything at all, even if there's something that is like planned for October. Like just don't have any expectations about it, because I feel like anything can happen with this energy, because the ground's really unstable. So you don't know, unless you know intuitively, you're not going to know what it is that's going to fall away. And so you just kind of like, you want to step lightly, but you kind of just, um, it's more like you want to just stay out of the way. Okay, so also avoid arguments this month and avoid confrontation. Maybe like, especially online, if you see something that's unsettling, just please like just move on. Like don't sit on it, don't think about it, don't read the comments, don't try to like justify your opinions about it. And you know, I feel like you don't want to please the ego. So I feel like September, October, there's egos and coming up. It's definitely not the time to please egos for September and October. Okay, so like don't get involved in shit that like doesn't involve you. And it's so funny because it's like I grew up before cell phones. Okay, so it's funny how like now we get ourselves so involved in other people's business, and sometimes it's like, you know, we're almost, I mean, essentially we are invited into other people's business by them uploading it. But like there's so many videos that people film of like other people, especially of like other people having confrontation and then uploading it, and then like getting all these comments and like people voicing all their opinions and like having arguments about who's right and wrong, and when it's just like that has nothing to do with us at all. Like whoever those two people are in that video having that confrontation, like that's them and that's their life and that's happening wherever the hell they live. Like that's not, that has nothing to do with you, right? And so like with social media, it's such a like there's like positive and negative to social media, but like that's like one of the worst things is just like getting ourselves involved in things that seem like a big deal because it's being presented as a big deal and it's really not, you know. And you might even be aware of this, like if you don't watch the news. I used to watch the news all the time, like any other individual, and then we stopped watching it. We don't even have like an antenna. We don't watch like public television, and so like I rarely see commercials. You know, I got like YouTube Premium and whatnot, and so like I'm very selective of the media I consume, and I've also like drawn away from it. And it's like at first I thought, oh, if I turn off the news, what am I like? What if something happens and like I don't know about it? And then like it's been like 10, I don't know, at least 10, 15 years, and it's like nothing's like my life still goes on. Like there's so much shit in the news I never see, and it's like it doesn't affect me, right? Like, and so just as an example, okay, it's like I feel like in October that could be something you realize like how much of shit that goes on in the world that really has nothing to do with you, and like how you could just turn it off and like it doesn't affect you anymore. Okay, so there's a clearing away in October, so I feel like things are going to clear away naturally, but also I feel like you're choosing what to clear away as well. And I feel like that's going to be a big thing for you guys, is like where where you're putting your energy in, especially on social media. I feel like that seems to be a bigger thing here with that message, and just media in general, because you're realizing how easily it just influences us to feel and think a certain way, and it's like you don't have to put yourself through that at all. Okay, so that's what we got for October. For November, we got the Lovers. Okay, and so October could have been a little difficult for some of you, but it cleared the way, and it cleared the way for the Lovers to come in this month. And so once again, January, I didn't mean to say January, but maybe January is coming into the play here. But Gemini is another sign coming up in your reading. We got Gemini earlier this year, and so whether you know a Gemini or there's Gemini planets in your chart or wherever house that is, this could be activated once more. And so pay attention to that. Let me see what month we got the other Gemini energy for. Okay, so it was back in May when we got the other archetypal energy of Gemini. Okay, so there could have been a relationship connected to this, but either way, there's some kind of connection between May and November and just Gemini energy. So maybe something got activated in May and wherever Gemini sits in your birth chart, and it's okay if you don't know. And now it's being like reactivated. Okay. And with the Lovers, it doesn't have to always be like romantic relationships or anything. Um, but it is igniting that lover card archetypal energy, and so it has a lot to do with, there's like a lot of self-realization. Okay, there's a lot of like connection to the divine here with this card. It's a union of opposites. It's, you know, feminine, masculine coming together in union. Okay, and you create a trinity by doing that. And so, you know, you could find yourself more just at peace and more like one with the universe, you know, just like really more connected, and especially connected with yourself. Okay. I feel like, yeah, like this could be relationships, but I feel like overall, like this is something that you're embodying deep within. Okay. I feel like passion projects could be a big thing for you in November. I feel like you're just really going after what it is you believe and what it is you feel, okay? Because this is a card that does deal with faith and belief and things like that. And it comes from your heart. It comes from what you feel within, okay? Um, and I just think of so many things, but I feel like if I just start talking about them, it'll drag on. But just think of like, you know, pictures of like you'll see of Jesus and he's pointing at his heart and then he's pointing in the sky. Um, you know, it for some, you could say that it's through his heart that he reaches the divine. Okay, so and there's like Kabbalah practices like that as well, and like, you know, maybe even like meditation, like chakra, like going through your heart. When I meditate, I usually stop at the heart chakra. I tend not to, like, I'll do mudras and stuff. I tend not to do any mudras to activate anything higher than that. I like to bring the energy into my heart space and kind of just like let it do its thing and settle back down. Okay. Whether or not I should be doing that, whatever, that's just what I do. And so, yeah, a lot of heart chakra activations, a lot of heart work. I'm even getting like root work, but like getting down to the root of the issue. Okay. And you can even like look at the veins in your heart as like a root, or like the heart is like the seed, you know. Um, so yeah, like there's just like a lot of like divine connection, you know. There could even just be you connecting to um certain religious figures. You don't have to be religious. Like I definitely identify with like Mary Magdalene, and you know, even like when I'm like praying or like whatever doing work, I'll call upon Isis and stuff, even though like I don't really know too much about Egyptian mythology. Um but it's just I find myself doing that. I find myself activating that. And so you could just be finding yourself doing that, like just calling upon certain deities, if that's part of, you know, unless you're like super religious and don't do that, that's fine. You don't have to. But just overall, like, I just feel like you're going to be turning to certain archetypes, okay? And it could be unconscious too, like maybe you're just embodying certain aspects of an archetype or a deity and not really realize it. Okay, so I'll say though, for relationships, yeah, this is a great month for relationships. There is like a greater sense of renewal. If you're starting a new relationship in November, I will say it's very, very karmic, and it's like very like just super, it's super spiritual, okay? It's super um like a the alchemical wedding, okay? And there's this painting by, I believe, Amy Balovitz, something like that. Balovitz, Amy Balovitz. And she's got a painting called The Alchemical Wedding, and it's gorgeous. And so it's something like that where it's just like a union. Again, I did mention like just the masculine and feminine coming together. So, however that union may be, um, even if it's not romantic, that is what's happening. And so, whatever relationships, even if you're in an existing relationship, you're going to deeper your connection here in November, and deeper your understanding of this connection. Like it's more than just what you feel deep inside, it's what you believe. And it's also like more than what you believe. It's like this is God's plan, right? So like I just feel like you're going to get like a deeper sense, not only a deeper connection, but it's more like a deeper understanding. Like I feel like it's more about just expanding your awareness of yourself, and also stay rooted in your heart, you know. um, and I know your root chakra is not there, but that's just like what I'm getting. Like stay here all November, okay, and keep it strong. Like, you know, it sucks because like people see like love, and I saw someone like downplay the word sacred and say it was a weakness and whatnot, but it's like it's not okay. You do have to be vulnerable to get to that place, but like how powerful is that to be so completely stripped naked and vulnerable to welcome the divine in. Okay, I think that's pretty fucking powerful. I don't see a weakness in that at all. Okay, so yeah, to each their own. Okay, so that's what we got for November. December, we got the Hierophant. Okay, so I feel like you guys are so deeply inspired, especially in November. Like, you had a lot of like, there's a lot of like divine union and divine connection happening in November, and like just coming into alignment into your purpose, and like deepening your understanding. Okay, and I think by deepening your understanding, it's no coincidence that we got the Hierophant for December, because now it's just like I feel like you can really take it all in and like push it back out. Okay, you received all that divine inspiration, all that divine wisdom, and now you're able to put it out into the world. Okay, you're able to implement it into the world. So for some of you, this can speak of you like maybe sharing your experiences. Maybe you have like a very deep spiritual experience and you want to share it, um or just giving some kind of insight into what it is you know and feel in your spiritual wisdom and knowledge, and giving it to the world, because the Hierophant is a spiritual leader who is there to teach and there to guide. Okay, he is the counterpart to the High Priestess, where the High Priestess is more of like a conduit. She's more of a vessel. She's there to receive, and to receive only. I mean, it sounds crazy, but like that's like her job. She's a priestess, right? And then, so, and at the same time, with that said, like she does tell people her messages, but only those who are meant to hear the message. Okay, and it tends to be spoken in riddles, or like I've always said, like a true prophet speaks in poetry or like in riddles or something. um like, because they don't just come out and say straight up like this is going to happen. They tend to kind of like lead you on into what is going to happen. Okay, it's a little more, I guess, like romantic. They're a little more romantic about it. Whereas like a Hierophant, they're gonna make it more structured. It's more digestible. Okay, so that could be something that's happening, even if you're not giving that information out. Maybe now you're able to digest the information that you are receiving and did receive, especially back in November. Okay, and so you definitely want to look up to spiritual leaders and teachers. And if this has nothing to do with spirituality, like that's not your thing, or that's just not what you're experiencing, it's something else in your life that's manifesting in a very similar way. Okay, so I always apply these readings to how it works for you in your life, because we don't all live the same life. Okay, and so yeah, it's somebody, a teacher you can look up to, maybe even attend church or some kind of religious or spiritual study or group or ritual or whatever it may be. I feel like you can find some comfort there. um, Even if you don't frequent a church, like find a church that like doesn't care, like is not really concerned about memberships, and don't mind you being there. Because I know some churches, like after a while, they want you to like start paying, and which is BS. So like maybe just like frequently frequenting a place like that, a sacred place, and even got that for somebody. Like, so it's so much more than just going to church. Like, you can just go to a place that feels sacred to you, or a place that is like considered a sacred place. Okay, like it could even just be like the dog park or something. I don't know why I said that specifically, but yeah, maybe you find like solace at a dog park. Like, oh, like these grounds are so spiritual, like people don't even know it. And now I'm thinking of like that meme where it's like black and white, and there's like a guy with a party hat standing in the corner, and people are dancing in front of him, and he says something like they don't even know or something. And so like that's the vibe I'm getting. Like, you're sitting at a park and you're looking around at like all the kids playing, and you're just like, they don't even know we're on sacred grounds right now. Like the ancestors are alive in the grass, in the dirt. So yeah, it could just be something like that. Like just spending time somewhere, wherever it is that like it feels good to you, even if it is like something that's like not considered sacred. Okay, so that was a fun message, not gonna lie. um yeah, it seems to be, if there, it's just a lot more fun this month, and it is the end of the year, so you are just like, you know, just kind of like excited and moving on. I definitely don't see like you guys it's funny because like for you guys and even like Aquarius, it's just like I feel like you guys are on your own, like, I don't know, calendar system. Like I feel like the New Year's doesn't really begin for you guys until later. Like for Aquarius, like I could see like the lunar New Year like being a thing for them because it happens in tropical Aquarius. Um, but then like Pisces, it's like their New Year's is like right after their season and it starts in Aries season or whatever. I don't know. I don't mean to drag, but like it's just like the vibe I'm getting. Like you guys kind of just like on your own clock, you're on your own time. Okay, so that's what we got for December. So thank you, Pisces, for making it through this reading and for watching this video. I greatly appreciate it. And you know, by you watching this video, I'm tapping and tuning into your energies. And so I appreciate your time and your energy to be able to tap in and give you these readings. Of course, subscribe, like, comment, whatever. Of course, I'm available full for private readings. If you don't see any private readings on my Etsy shop, then I'm taking a break or they're sold out or whatever. I usually put a shop message at the very top. Underneath the like, there's a banner and then there's like a message box. Okay, so I will usually leave a message there about anything, any changes in my shop. Okay, so if you don't see any readings, then there's probably a message there for that. But yeah, that seems to be it. It seems to be a pretty good year for you guys, and I'm excited. I feel like it, it's a lot less egotistical this year, although you are obviously your ego doesn't just go away, right? Like it's always there and you need your ego. But I feel like you're able to like get out of your own way and kind of just like vibe with life. Like I feel like you guys are just going to be in a good place overall. Okay. Granted, there are things that are going to come up, but I just feel like the sun is shining again for you guys. So I think that's wonderful. And yeah, we're just gonna end the video there. So once again, thank you so much, and I wish you guys all the best.